Hi, welcome to day 38 in our Route 66 Journey Through the Bible Challenge. 38 days we've been doing this, and hopefully you're getting into Leviticus. We're kind of in the middle of it. Leviticus is all about some of the laws and regulations that the Levites, the priests, were supposed to take care of. And they were kind of the doctors that took care of a lot of the health. They would come to them, and sometimes the priest would go to them. So we're in Leviticus chapter 15 and 16, just two chapters today. And Leviticus chapter 15 is some of the laws and how they're to take care of bodily discharges. Sometimes if you know a doctor, sometimes doctors can get into some pretty strange things. And as parents, sometimes we have to deal with what happens when our body's not working right. What's supposed to stay on the inside, what's on the inside is supposed to stay on the inside, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And this chapter covers some of the rules of cleanliness for men and for women. And so that, and sometimes it's a little bit different. If someone was unclean, if they had a discharge from the inside, they were supposed to wash themselves and their clothes, and sometimes offer a sacrifice. My wife teaches preschool, and there's a whole class that you have to take every year on how you take care when a child has a problem, has a bodily issue. This is how you take care of it. And the Jews were the same way. The focus was on keeping their community clean, physically and spiritually. And the lesson that we can learn from this one, even though this is dealing with physical, God cares about our physical health and our spiritual health. God cares about that. And so we need to take care of us. If our physical health, that's important. Our body, we need to take care of our body and make sure it's as healthy as it can be. Eating right, getting enough rest, doing exercise. If something's not right, check it out. Go to the doctor if need be. But even more so, our spiritual health, our spiritual purity. If we find that we're not where we ought to be in our relationship with God, our relationship with others, then we need to make sure that it's right and make sure that it's clean. Leviticus chapter 16 deals with the Day of Atonement. It's known today as of Yom Kippur. And it's one day out of the year, the most important day of the year for the Israelites, where they were proclaimed forgiven of their sin. The high priest would enter into the most holy place. It's sometimes called the Holy of Holies. It's that place where the Ark of the Covenant is, and they would make a sacrifice for the people's sins. It's interesting, you'll read about this. 2 goats were used. One was sacrificed for the people's sins. The other was had that animal that had been sacrificed, its blood put on that, and it was sent away, symbolizing that sin was removed. They called it the scapegoat. And we still, when we use the word scapegoat, it's somebody that takes the blame for somebody else. And so it goes away, but it's free, symbolizing our freedom from sin. It lives because the other one died. And this foreshadows and pictures what Jesus does for us. He takes away our sin. He becomes our substitute. He takes the blame for our sin. Because he died, we get to live. And that's the lesson. God provides a way for sins to be forgiven, and that way is Jesus. Even in the Old Testament, before Jesus came, this always pointed to Jesus. They did this in anticipation of Jesus coming. It's interesting. It was called the Day of Atonement. The word atonement, means to cover it. The things that they did in the Old Testament covered their sins, but Jesus removed the sins. And so our sins can be forgiven, and they should be forgiven because of Jesus. So read this and think of Jesus as the goat, the lamb that was slain so that we could go free. And you are free.